afternoon, everybody. This is Tomas Ramirez, the owner of Positive Gains Training. And today I'm back with another episode on our podcast of Impact Beyond the Weights. We started a series last week called Three Things That Are Hindering Your Fitness Goals, Part 1. And today is going to be Part 2. And I have something special lined up for us next week, God willing, for Part 3. Definitely can't wait for that. So please tune in and watch that. Today's probably going to be the most in-depth part of this series, as we're talking about things that are hindering people's fitness progress, particularly today's the weekend fall off is what I'm calling this, and just what happens on the weekend. I'm going to use a real scenario using myself as this scenario and just punching in the numbers. This PowerPoint took me a very long time to create, but I'm definitely proud of it. I'm very, very excited to share this with you guys. So I hope that you guys find it helpful just as much as I enjoy teaching it. I love teaching, and I just pray that this will be an awesome experience for everybody who's watching, whether it's now or 10 years in the future. So I just want to try to break this down as best as I can. So bring to the stage. Fix this really quick. All right. So again, this is our PowerPoint from last week. I just modified a little bit to make it appropriate for this week. Obviously, some things will be different. But again, this will say 3 things that are hindering your fitness progress. Part 2, specifically fat loss. Okay, so we're specifically talking about fat loss. And again, my name's Tomas Ramirez. All right, so last week we had a quote. I wanted to have a quote for this series, and the quote was from Michael Jordan. It says, "The minute you get away from fundamentals, whether it's proper technique, work ethic, or mental preparation, the bottom can fall out of your game, your schoolwork, your job, or whatever you're doing." It's all about the fundamentals. It's all about building that foundation. The house that I'm in right now, if it doesn't have a proper foundation, nothing inside of it's going to last. I don't care if it's a couple months, a couple years, a foundation is very, very impactful and powerful. So definitely want to keep that in mind. That's why I love this quote. All right, so again, this week we are talking about perspective, the weekend fall off. So I purposely created a scenario, again, using myself, punching in some numbers, giving you guys an example of just real life, if you will, and just what that looks like when people fall off, especially on the weekend. And I'm sure most of us can relate to this, even myself. All right, so just one definition today. I'm sure most of you probably thought that, that includes binging, but it's actually going to be contrary. It's not necessarily just binging that makes people fall off. So we'll get more into that. But I did want to throw the definition up, as the definition of binge is a period of excessive indulgence in an activity, especially eating, drinking, or taking drugs. So this is a period. So this is a specific amount of time in which an excessive indulgence in something happens. And this period that we're referring to is usually the weekend for most of us when it comes to nutrition and dieting. But again, I'm going to shock you because I'm not going to talk about binging at all. So our scenario case, again, I'm using myself. I gave you guys my measurements on the right-hand side here. So I'm 32 years old. I'm a 6-foot male. My activity level, I always put at low medium, despite me being active and working out multiple times a day. I'd rather be in the lower range and, guesstimate in my calories than put myself too high, and then that's not even close to being reality. So whenever I'm doing a client's plan, I always put them in sedentary, even if they already work out. I just rather start out low and build up versus start out way too high and have to work ourselves down. Okay, I currently weigh 186 pounds. My BMR, so that stands for basal metabolic rate. So if I was to lay in bed all day and absolutely did nothing, like I didn't move, I just laid there, my body still needs calories to function. I still need to be able to blink. I need to be able to, digest food if I had any food within my stomach, anything like that. It still takes calories or energy to survive. And for me personally, it's about 1925, so about 1,925 calories it will take for me to survive without doing any type of activity. Okay, and just for today's example, this is not my real life goal. I'm trying to lose 10 pounds. Okay, so again, that's the scene scenario. We'll keep it moving. So let's elaborate. I told you guys that we're not particularly talking about binging, but I'm going to show you like real life example on usually how this plays out. Again, this is just from my own personal experience and just from being a trainer for 9 years things that I hear and things that I've seen and witnessed. Okay, so some absolutes when it comes to trying to lose weight, specifically body fat. Usually, most people are concerned with the scale, but if in all reality you're trying to lose body fat, if you stay the same amount of weight, but you got leaner and toner and more muscle mass to you, you'd still maybe weigh the same, but you would be, again, you'd have less body fat. So most people want to lose the body fat when they want weight loss. So some absolutes is, I think we all know, if you're on social media to any extent and you watch any type of nutrition thing, we need a calorie deficit. So the way that we create a calorie deficit, for me personally, is either we're going to exercise more and eat more, or we're going to eat less and exercise less and just focus more on our steps. Okay, because we don't want to have too high of a calorie deficit. We don't want our body to be burnt out too fast. Like 4 weeks into your cut, you're already tired, exhausted. He's already going into your cut tired and exhausted. So there's a lot of things that go into a cutting phase when it comes to training. Honestly, I don't feel like most people are prepared for that. And I don't even know if most trainers are up to date on that and look for specific cues for that. So another thing we want in absolute is high quality protein. If you look, I emphasize the quality in there, because 25 grams of 93% lean grass-fed beef is much higher quality versus 25 grams of protein from your lunch meat. That's much different. The body digests that much differently. It recognizes it much differently. And we're always trying to pursue quality, okay? Always high quality. Fluctuation of your fats and carbs. So again, this is where you need a plan. You know, carbs and fats are always going to fluctuate based on your body, and the only way you're going to know that is hitting consistent numbers each week, every single day. But the only absolute for that is maintaining our protein. Protein's always going to stay the same, or it could possibly increase. Prioritize sleep, recovery, and stress. These things are highly overlooked, not just for a fat loss, but just in general. Sleep is very, very important, especially if you're going to a fat loss. I can't stress it enough that if you're a stressed person going into a fat loss program, which requires you to basically eat less, burn more, and you have horrible sleep, you're not recovering very well. Your cortisol is going to be very, very high, and that's just going to hurt your hormones in the long run. It's just going to put you in a spot where you don't want to be in. So prioritizing your sleep, prioritizing your recovery. So like having pains in your joints already coming into a cutting phase, that's not a good look. Again, that could be high inflammation, or maybe it's just, dehydration or past injuries, stuff like that. Past injuries is different, but like dehydration and inflammation, those are very critical things. And then stress. Stress, again, impacts cortisol. Cortisol will impact the body getting rid of body fat. Okay, and then the very last one I have is consistency / adherence to the overall plan. If you don't like what you're doing, you're not going to stay consistent with it. And I think we all can agree that consistency helps us to keep what we're trying to work for. Okay, I like this quote that I learned today. It said that persistence gets you what you want, but consistency helps you to keep it. So consistency is, I think, what we're all chasing. Like nobody goes through a fat loss program thinking, I want to get fatter again eventually. It's like we want to stay consistent with these things. And again, that's going to boil down to habits, which is a whole nother different type of topic. But just wanted to bring these absolutes out. This picture is actually me after one of my cuts in 2021, I believe is what it was. So again, I cut down for about 10 to 12 weeks, and this was part of my results as far as the back image goes. All right, so a quote that I liked that I thought that would be cool to put in this video comes from Darren Hardy, who I learned is an author, and it says that the slightest adjustments to your daily routines can dramatically alter the outcomes in your life. I thought that was very appropriate because you guys will see when I go through this illustration just how the slightest adjustments, just how the the smallest changes in the original plan can impact the calories in this instance, can impact just what happens or how long it's going to take to see the change that you are working for. So again, I really like this quote. I think it's really relevant. So I put it in here. I also like the half-eaten donut because again, it's those little things. So just as my pastor said this past Sunday, a little compromise leads to big defeats. So if you're compromising with something little, eventually it's going to lead to something really big. So again, we need to stay focused. We need to stay disciplined, have persistence, but consistency is always the key, not perfection. Be consistent. Okay. All right, so our scenario with numbers. So again, I'm using myself. So on the left-hand side, we already know because I already put that in a previous slide. This is me, this is my measurements. But on the right-hand side, we're gonna focus on the scenario diet estimated numbers. So again, as I told you guys, BMR for me is about 1925. That's about how many calories I would burn if I didn't do nothing all day. If I just sat or laid in bed all day, didn't move an inch, I would burn about 1925. Okay, TDEE, that stands for total daily energy expenditure. So that's how much you burn naturally just to survive, plus all the activities that you do. So that's going to work, that's working out, that's getting your steps in, that's any other type of extracurricular activities. That could even be just fidgeting. So if you're a fidgeter, that's part of your TDEE. Like just movement in general is burning calories, right? So in this instance, I just put TDEE for the workout. So I'm guesstimating for me, on average, I probably burn about 450 calories per 60-minute workout. It could be more, it could be less, depending on the body part. But again, just trying to be as realistic as possible and just give a guesstimate. And then steps. So our goal in this program is to get 10,000 steps every single day. That's very important. So I need you to keep that in mind. Our goal is 10,000 steps every day. And based on my body weight, that'd be about 500 extra calories. Okay, so if we go down to the next part, we go to training day. You'll see it says 1925. So again, that's my BMR, plus the 450 calories. So that's from my workout, plus the 500 calories. And that's from me getting 10,000 steps, at least 10,000 steps. And that comes out to 2875 calories burned within that day. And if again, that's 5 days a week. So I'm training 5 days a week. So exercise 5 days a week. Active recovery. So again, we take the 1925 calories, our BMR, plus just our steps. So on my active days, I don't call them rest days because I've learned that you got to be very cautious of your words because some people will take you very serious to the T if I say an off day or a rest day, which yes, I'm all for rest days when needed, but people will literally just do nothing and you'll probably get 500 steps for the day because you literally just did nothing but just watch TV. And sometimes you do need that. There is a time and a place for that. I'm not against that at all. But I think if you're really trying to get into a fat loss stage, you're trying to be as mobile and active as possible. This doesn't always mean going to the gym and working out. This just means that you're doing something, cleaning the house, staying busy, purposely just going outside for a walk. So you're being active, stretching throughout your day, which is highly underrated. You should definitely be stretching, something I need to practice myself. So I'm not just preaching to you, I'm also talking to myself. So again, the active recovery day, we took the BMR calories plus the steps calories, and that's about 2425 calories. And this is 2 days a week. Okay, so we took the totals between the training days, which was 5, and then we took the totals of the active days, which is 2. And that for the whole entire week is about 19,225 calories, again, estimated. Now, we need to create a calorie deficit. We've already talked about this in the other slide that I think we all know that a calorie deficit is what helps us to lose the body fat. Okay, so in order to create a calorie deficit, I basically just made a calorie deficit of 500 calories every single day, which brings us to 16,625 calories for the week, or 2,375 calories per day. Okay, so there's a lot of ways you can look at this. Before you even get started, the way I always relate calories is to finances. It's about budgeting, right? So I think about I have 2,375 dollars every single day to spend. If I go over that budget, I'm putting myself into debt. And debt in this case means that I'm not creating a calorie deficit. and I'm going to eventually, or I could potentially actually add more body mass to me, which is probably in the form of fat, maybe, depending on where you're already starting. Okay. So I always think about that in terms of money. If you're a budgeter, this video is 100% for you. If you're not a budgeter, then I'm gonna make this as easy as possible for you. But if you think of it in that terms, I trust you, I promise you, it'll be a lot easier. Okay, so again, there's all our numbers. Take a minute to pause the screen if you want to, recalibrate on everything I said. I try to make everything clear and concise. All right, so before we get into the good here, like I told you guys earlier, I made another document. So I'm gonna bring this up. I'm gonna take my face off and bring this up. Okay, so here I created just a podcast scenario meal plan. So again, our goal for each day is 2,375 calories, as you guys can see at the top. I did make a note. You should use specific macros, especially and mainly protein when cutting. But for the sake of this video, I'm just throwing out numbers and meals to demonstrate. So the numbers that I actually have with these meals is actually legit numbers. I don't give the protein, fats, and carbs because that just will take so long. But I do give the actual calories within these meals. So I just use my own food log from various days, and this is our example. So Monday through Friday, we'll just say that this person doesn't like any type of change, and they just want the same thing all the time. Okay, so at 7 a.m., so on Monday through Friday, they're working out at 10 a.m. Monday through Friday, every single day. So that's training plus the 10,000 steps. At 7 a.m., they're going to have one Health Warrior oatmeal pack with a half serving of collagen powder, stirred in with half water and 3 ounces of grass-fed milk. This comes out to 359 calories. Okay, so that's at 7 a.m. At 9 a.m. is going to be the pre-workout snack. So that's a whole nother series I want to create because that's probably one of the most common questions I get is what should I have for pre-workout? Okay, so usually your pre-workout should be at least an hour before. I'm not talking about your snack, not your supplements, but at least an hour before to 90 minutes before. And in this case, I gave this person 1 serving of protein powder with 8 to 10 ounces of water and 150 grams of orange fruit. Okay, and that came out to 180 calories. Then again, this is optional. Not everybody takes pre-workout supplements, but if this person did, which I do, at around 9:45, we're going to take our pre-workout subs. We're going to do 1 serving of your favorite pre-workout. I use Bucked Up, but I don't use the caffeinated. I try to stay away from caffeine as much as possible. I do the non-stim version with the dash of, I use pink Himalayan salt, but you can use sea salt. And I use 1 capsule of vitamin D3 with K2. So I just open the capsule and I just pour it into my pre-workout, and I have that about 20 minutes or so before my workout. Okay, so at 10 a.m., this person works out. At 11:30 a.m., it's the post-workout shake. In this instance, we're going to do 1.5 servings of protein powder with 10 to 12 ounces of water and a Rice Krispie treat. Yes, I know TikTok is famous for a period of time where everybody was on that. I want that that Rice Krispie treat before my pre-workout gives me the best pumps. Well, we're going to actually save that for after because we just want to replenish glycogen from our workout. And this is technically a higher glycemic index carb, so we're going to use that to help bring in all the protein that we're consuming into our muscle molecules because carbohydrates just makes that faster, increase a little bit of insulin. Okay, so that's 315 calories for that meal. So our morning totals between 7 a.m. and 11:30 is 854 calories. So that means we have remaining 1521. So again, put this in terms of finances. We already spent in the morning time $854. We have about $1521 left in the budget. Okay, so 1 p.m. rolls around. So this is about an hour and a half after their post-workout shake. You start to feel hungry. They're going to have chickpea pasta Alfredo with chicken, which is amazing, by the way. So we're going to have 1.5 servings of noodles, 6 ounces of chicken breast, 125 grams of sauce, 85 grams of steamed broccoli, and that comes out to about 846 calories. Okay, at 4 p.m., so about 3 hours later, we're going to have 170 grams of phage or Fahe yogurt, which is 2%. We're going to have 100 grams of berries and a half serving of hemp hearts / seeds for the omega-3s and iron and magnesium. Seriously, if you're not having omega or hemp hearts or seeds, you're missing out. They kind of have like a nutty flavor to them, but we're going to add that into our yogurt. That's about 267 calories. And then lastly, around 6:30 or 7 o'clock at night, we're going to have steak and broccoli. So we're going to have 6 ounces of petite cube sirloin steak. So you cube it yourself. 85 grams of broccoli, 1.5 servings of rice, cauliflower, 1 pop if you want to, and that's 389 calories. So again, if this person followed this exact plan, Monday through Friday, they're going to have 2,356 calories out of our 2,375 calories. So we're just below it by like 20 calories. So perfect. We're right on the money. So again, keep this in mind. This person follows that. All right. On our active recovery days, so days that we're not exercising, which is usually like Saturday and Sunday or however the schedule is, we're just going to focus on our 10,000 steps. And at 9 a.m., so they're going to kind of fast unless they're like, let's say sleep in already. But I'm a morning person, so I'm usually up by like 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. So that'd be like a 3 hours fast for me. So fast for a little bit. We're going to have 2 Health Warrior oatmeal packs with a half serving of collagen powder stirred in, and then the same, half water, 3 ounces of milk. This time, instead of like the low 300s, I think it's 619. Okay, at 10 a.m., we're going to go for an outdoor walk or a walk on the treadmill just to get our steps in and digest that food. At 11:30, we're going to have 2 servings of our protein powder instead of the 1.5, with 10 to 12 ounces of water and 200 grams of orange fruit. That comes out to 314 calories. So just for the morning, between those 2 meals, if you will, it's 933 calories, and we have 1442 remaining. For lunch, we're going to have spinach and feta cheese meatballs with tzatziki sauce. So specifically 6 meatballs, 80 grams of the sauce, 1.5 cups of rice. This is going to be white rice. That's 612 calories. At 4 p.m., we're going to have the same exact yogurt that we had. And then at 6:30 to 7, we're going to have ground beef and black bean tostadas. So we're going to have 6 ounces of 93% lean beef, 3 tostada chips, 90 grams of black refried beans, which they sell at Meijer. If you live in the Midwest, Meijer has that, and it's amazing. 1 serving of shredded cheese, which is 28 grams, 45 grams of light sour cream, which comes out to 585 calories. So again, if you look at the totals, for this day, for Saturday and Sunday, if this person followed it to a T, they'd have 2,397 calories out of our 2,375, which equals out from the week, right? So we're just a little bit over. So again, you guys see I have this all mapped out. Also, I want you guys to notice that the eating times are very similar, on the active days as it is on the non-active, so on the training day. So 9 a.m., 11:30, 1, 4, 6:37. Okay, if you look here, we got 7, 9 a.m., 11:30, 1, 4, 6:37. So I kept it very similar to the already original or trying to develop eating patterns. Okay, very important to have some consistency also with that as well. All right, so we have the meal plan down. We're going to go right back into our PowerPoint here. So the good. So on Monday through Friday, we had our 2,375 calories. If you guys recall, is actually 20 calories shorter, but we'll just, for the sake of this video, keep it as exact. So I put some little notes, some realistic notes. On Monday, this person said, man, it was tough to do. On Tuesday, it was a little easier, but still a challenge. On Wednesday, it was a great day. Everything went as planned. Thursday, they felt good again. So Monday through Thursday felt great. They're hitting their calories. Okay, they're not going above it. They're not going too far below it. They're hitting their calories, right? So again, here's our totals. So Monday through Thursday total. So our total calories for the week so far between these 4 days is 9,500 calories out of the 16,625 calories. So again, relate this to money. You already spent $9,500. You got 16,625 to spend all week. That leaves you with $7,125 to spend. Okay, so that's where we're at right now. Now the fall. Okay, I like this little apple on the scale. I think it's pretty cool. Hold on, let me bring myself back. 1 second, guys. I want to make sure I see you guys. I got my little glasses on now. Can't see without my glasses. All right. So here comes the fall. So again, recap, we did good Monday through Thursday. We got 7,125 calories left for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So that number split between 3. So here comes our Friday thoughts. Again, being realistic, just being human is, yes, I'm a trainer, but that doesn't mean I'm not human. So thoughts. I think I'm doing good. I think I'm going to chill today. Excuse me, I got my glasses on, I can't read better. I think I'm going to chill today, right? That's usually typical Friday. I really don't feel like cooking though. So most of us don't feel like cooking. You already had a very long week at work. You don't feel like cooking. I've done good, so I can have a little fill in the blank. Here comes the compromise. I told you guys earlier, little compromise leads to big defeats. I've done good, so I can have a little blank. I can just get blank and work it off tomorrow. So it's kind of like that punishment system. Well, because I did this, now I need to do this. So I can just get a little blank and work it off tomorrow. I'll get something clean, right? That's our thing. We'll get something clean. I have followed my macros and calories all week. So, hey, I should get something to eat, right? So what happens? Just an example. Decides that instead of the steak and broccoli that we had in our meal plan for Monday through Friday, remember, going back to the meal plan, I had steak and broccoli as a dinner. We're going to go to Panda Express instead, and we'll get the same exact thing. It's the same exact thing, right? There's no difference. So Panda version, we're going to order double beef and broccoli because that's about 150 calories per serving. Okay, so that's about 300 calories by itself. And we'll just get one side of rice. Okay, so estimated according to MyFitnessPal, I'll log this in. If you went to Panda to get almost the same exact thing as what I sent you, 770 calories versus 389. So that's almost double the calories. Okay, so you're now at a 381 surplus for that day. Doesn't hurt you yet. You're at 381 surplus, all because you made one little compromise. You ate the same exact thing, but because of how it was prepared, because of what it was, and again, you don't know the exact measurements. I'm just going based on what MyFitnessPal says, but I don't know if they give you a cup, if they give you a cup and a half, they give you 2 cups of rice. Again, the more rice, obviously the more calories, and it's fried rice. Okay, so it's a lot of oil into that already. Not good oils that you want. I don't know how much the meat is. Maybe they only gave you a little bit of meat and just more broccoli. So again, there's no certainties. That's the problem with going out to eat. There's usually no certainties for the most part. So again, now we're up 381 calories for the day. Let's do the math. So on Friday, morning through the last snack, you did good. You followed everything to a T. But when it came to dinner, instead of your low 359 calories, now dinner was 770 calories estimated. Could be more, could be a little bit less. So now your totals for that day, instead of 2375, is 2737. Okay, stick with me. All right, Saturday rolls around. Here comes the next day. So I'm point 1 in the morning. We have active recovery. So again, we're not working out. Just in this scenario, maybe you do work out on Saturdays. So in this case, we're not. Active recovery. So the only thing we're focused on is getting our 10,000 steps. So this person has their regular oatmeal, the one that I sent them in the plan. Okay, they really wanted a coffee. I didn't have this in the plan, but they really wanted a coffee before their 10 a.m. walk. So they went to Tim Hortons or Dunkin' Donuts. They got a large 3 and 3. Again, I'm estimating. I'll put that about 110 calories. Could be a little bit more. Again, uncertainties. I don't know how much sugar they're actually using. I don't know what kind of sugar they're using. You could get stevia and Splenda, which would make it a little bit lower because it's 0 calories. But how much milk is going in there? How much cream is going in there? Again, you don't know these things. And I know it sucks. You're like, man, this is just impossible. I'm not trying to discourage anybody, but like you want to have the exacts when it comes to a fat loss program because little things like this add up. So again, we'll just estimate is 110 for this new added coffee. They did come home and they had their shake. So I recommended their shake. So again, reflecting back to the document, it was 2 packs of oatmeal, go for the walk. Then it was 2 scoops of protein powder with the orange. Okay, that comes out to 314 calories. All right, in the afternoon, they had the meatball lunch that I recommended, 612 calories, but at around 2:30 p.m., so lunch was at around 1. At around 2:30, 3 o'clock, they felt hungry, which you will feel hungry during your fat loss. You should not be feeling starved, but like if you should be feeling hungry because that means that your body is actually burning fat. So don't neglect it. Okay, you'll be okay if you don't eat for a couple hours. I promise you're not gonna die. Okay, but this person felt hungry and they're like, you know what? It's not that bad, and it's a protein bar. So they added a Bear Bell protein bar around 2:30 p.m. because of hunger. Again, are you really hungry or are you just bored? There's fine discernment. That can be a whole nother video. Are you really hungry or are you just bored and you just want to chew on something because you're bored? Okay, a good tip that I learned is that go do something for 5 to 10 minutes and do something that distracts you. And after that 5 to 10 minutes, if you still want that thing, have it. But if you don't, then you're just bored. Okay, so that's a pro tip. So this person added in a coffee and this protein bar. Neither one of them are necessarily bad. Okay, this is the point I'm trying to make. Neither one of them are necessarily bad. And then they had the yogurt that they always have through the week at 4 o'clock. Okay, then we go to 3.3. Friends call at 5:30 p.m. We know how it is. It's Saturday. Saturday going into the evening time. Friends call. Yo, what you doing? Let's go out to eat. Let's go hang out. Let's go have some drinks. You listen to my first podcast in the first episode. You try to control the room, if you will. You try to control where you're going. Although it would be better with let's go do something active in this case instead of let's go out to eat because you're going to defer me from my goals. But you succumb to it, okay, because you don't have a community. Again, just go back and watch the first one, the first episode, part 1. Okay, so you succumb to it. You're like, all right, let's at least go to a road steakhouse so I can have something that's similar to my diet already. Okay, that's always the first rule of thumb. Try to go somewhere that has real food similar to what you're already eating. Don't try to deviate. Okay, so like, all right, cool, we'll go to a steakhouse. In your mindset, you're like, I'll just substitute my dinner with this and keep it cleaner. Again, there goes that same thing. I'll keep it cleaner, right? So you go, your remaining calories is only 253 at this point. After what you've done in the morning and the afternoon, you only have 253 calories to spend. This is before you go to the steakhouse. Okay? All right, so on the left-hand side, your added food choices. So this was not a part of your original plan. Okay, you added the coffee, which you're like, man, it's not too bad. It's 110 calories. You added the protein bar, which is another 200 calories. You go to Texas Roadhouse or whatever your favorite roadhouse is, and you're like, I'm gonna keep it clean, right? So again, one part of my pro tips is always prioritize protein. So you go with the sirloin because it's one of the leanest cuts of steak that they have there, higher in protein. Okay, unless you're like me, I love my New York strip or my ribeye. But in this case, again, you're going with sirloin because it's leaner. You only have 2 rolls. You don't know how much butter because you don't have a scale to weigh it out. But you don't use a lot of butter. You just use a little bit. But you have 2 rolls, which are very high in calories. You have a house salad with ranch. Okay. Again, you're trying to avoid the carbs. You've already had your 2 rolls, which are going to be your carbs. So you have a house salad with ranch, which they have some of the best house salads. And then you have a mixed vegetable on the side. You don't get the baked potato like you usually. You don't get the sweet potato even. Okay, you just stick with vegetables. But you do have one 24-ounce beer. Or my females, you do have some type of, I don't know, margarita, some type of liquor drink, right? Just one 24 ounce. It's not going to do that. It's not that bad. Okay. All right. Let's go over to the right-hand side. So the estimated calories from the added selection, so all these things that you added, is about 1653. That's about how many calories. Okay, your dinner alone at Texas Roadhouse or whatever steakhouse you went to was about 1343. Remind you that you only had 253 calories going into your dinner. So right here, remaining calories before dinner, 253. So again, think of it in finances. You had $253 to your name, but you succumb to the, your friends and the pressure of going out to eat and fear of missing out, or just not telling them let's go do something active. So you put yourself in debt by $1,090. I don't think most of us would do that. I think if you knew you was about to be in debt by at least $1,000, you probably be like, let's go do something else. So again, if you think about it in terms of finances, you'd be like, let's go do something else. I'm down to hang out with you. I'm not trying to miss out. Or let me have dinner first and let's go do something else after. I'd rather you would have had dinner first, and then if you are, a social drinker, if you will, okay, to each their own. I'd rather you ate your dinner first, then go out with your friend and just have one drink, because that would have been a significantly less calories than 1090. Okay, so again, you just put yourself in debt by 1090 calories. So this is Saturday. So again, recap Saturday. Morning through last snack. Okay, you had 1967 calories, and this is because two things were added. It was the coffee and the protein bar. At dinner time alone, you had 1343 calories estimated. Okay, so your total calories for that day, instead of 2375, you have 3465. That's 1090 calories higher than what we discussed on our plan. Okay, stay with me, keep it moving. Sunday. So I'm a 90s baby. One of the first ever episodes of SpongeBob, I'm pretty sure it's on season 1, is where he has the Sunday. Right, so that's what this is from. No, I'm showing my age. If you're older than me, you probably don't know what the heck I'm talking about, unless you have kids my age. But shout out to SpongeBob. So Sunday. On Sunday in point 1, we decided to change it up a little bit because you are being mindful. So again, congratulate you on being mindful, and I'm not trying to discourage anybody, because if you just start with cleaning up your diet and the quality first, then that's a win, right? So if you're not doing what you used to do, I'm proud of you. Okay, I'm not trying to discourage anybody. I'm just trying to show you how numbers are very important when it comes to really getting to specifics of things. Okay, so at 9 a.m. you change it up because you know you went out to eat on Friday, and you know you went out to eat and had an alcoholic beverage on Saturday. So you're like, no, I'm going to do better today. So instead of your 2 packets of oatmeal, you had a protein shake. You just had the 2 scoops of protein shake with the orange. Okay, at 10 a.m., you love your coffee, so you still went to go get another one. So right now you're at 400 plus calories just from breakfast. In the afternoon, around 12:30 p.m. after church, your family invites you out to eat, to go for breakfast. You're like, yeah, sure, why not? Let's just go to a Coney Island. I can get, my eggs or, whatever's real breakfast food. So you have 3 eggs, 2 pieces of toast, 2 turkey sausage patties because you're trying to be cleaner, some hash browns, and an orange juice. Okay, so your breakfast alone at this point is about 1,178 calories. Okay, at 4 p.m., again, you know that your breakfast was a little bit heavier. At 4 p.m., you just have a protein bar. Okay, instead of your usual yogurt, again, you're still eating around your same normal time. So that's one thing I want to emphasize. You're still eating around your same normal times. I didn't change that. You're still eating around your same normal times. It's good to have patterns because they help you to stay consistent. So you had that. And the evening time comes around, again, you're mindful, again. So if this is you, I'm talking to you, I'm proud of you. I'm not trying to discourage you. But again, eventually at some point, we need to start getting some more specifics. So, on Friday, you went and had Panda Express. Saturday, you went out to eat with your friends. And then this afternoon, you had lunch with your family, right? So at 6:30, you're like, no, I'm going to make a salad. So shout out to my salad people. You can still make salad very, very high calories, especially with the dressing that you're using. Or it doesn't even have to be dressing. It can be oil. It could be my people who love like their vinaigrettes with the extra virgin olive oil and stuff like that. A little dressing has a lot of calories in it. Okay, so your salad has 4 ounces of chicken, 100 grams of salad mix, 2 servings of cheese, and 3 servings of light ranch. You use light ranch. That comes out to about 551 calories. All right, let's do the math. So again, in the morning time, you just had your shake, you just had your coffee, 424 calories. During lunch, you went out to eat with the family after church, 1378. Okay, and dinner, you try to dial it down a little bit because you know that, you went out to eat a lot this weekend. So you had 551. So you were actually under. For this day, you had 2,353. Again, our goal is try to get 2,375. So you was actually under. So this could be an example of how you can balance it out. But again, it's not ideal. I'm not trying to encourage this type of eating. Okay. All right, so let's add it up. So just a recap from my numbers, our estimated burn for the week is about 19,225 calories for the week. Our ideal calorie consumption is 16,625. How did we do? After everything that we went through, we had 18,055. So it's lower than the 19,225. So technically, you was in a calorie deficit. But according to our goals, you was in a surplus of $1,430. So according to the goals that we created and the plan that we came up with, you're in debt about $1,430. Okay, that means that your average calories per day was about 2,579 calories. Even though some days was higher than the others, your average calories was about 2580 almost. Okay, so your true calorie deficit was 167 calories instead of 500. So 1 pound of fat equals 3,500 calories. So if we do the math, if we take 3,500 calories, divide that by 167 calorie deficit, it take you about 21 days to lose about 1 pound of fat. And that sounds great, right? You're like, man, that's awesome. I still got to go out to eat. I still was in a calorie deficit. You know, I'm cool with losing 1 pound of fat in 21 days. You know, after a period of time, that starts to add up. Okay. And again, I'm not trying to discourage anybody. I'm proud of you. Keep going, because some change is better than no change. But again, just like SpongeBob's breath, it's just not that easy. Okay, sure, but only if everything was perfect. So yes, you was in a calorie deficit, but that's only if everything else was met. So what do you mean? So that's only if every single day you got your 10,000 steps. So there's not one single day that you did not get. So from Sunday to Saturday, every day you got 10,000 steps, at least 10,000 steps. You trained 5 days a week. So you didn't skip a day. You didn't say 4 is good this week. You did 5. Every workout, you knocked it out. And you kept your calories at a max level during the week. So that Monday through Thursday, like how I showed you guys in the example, you kept it there. You didn't deviate. You kept it at the 2375. Okay, so that's only if it was ideal. So if you only got 8,000 steps one day, if you only got 3,000 steps one day, if you only trained 3 out of the 5 times that week, you actually put yourself in a surplus. So that, let me go back if I can. So this 167 calorie deficit may actually now be a 167 calorie surplus. So now we didn't burn our 19,225 because that's if everything was perfect. You actually burned, I don't know, we'll say 1795. So you went from 1925 to 1795 and you consumed 1855. Again, in the beginning of this video, I told you the way to create a fat loss is to be in a calorie deficit. If you wasn't perfect, and nobody is perfect, okay, so I'm not trying to put that pressure on you, but if you did not meet your goals, if you did not do what you were supposed to do as far as your activity goes, chances are you may be in a surplus. And then you go on the scale in the end of the week, and you're like, I didn't do that bad. Monday through Thursday, I was doing great. On Friday, sure, I may have had a little bit of Panda Express here, but that was only like a 300 calorie surplus from what I'm supposed to. On Saturday, you know, I only had 1 alcoholic drink. I still kept it real to my diet. I still had, you know, steak, and I had salad, and I had mixed vegetables. I only had 2 rolls. You know, usually I eat 4, or usually I get a New York strip instead of a sirloin. So again, that's progress in itself. When you can say I used to get this or I usually get that. So that is progress in itself. But again, I'm just trying to show you guys that those things add up. And that's what's hindering your fat loss. So when you get discouraged and you're like, you know, I'm doing everything I can, I guess the question really comes down to, if I'm really honest, are you really? Because, you know, you compromised that once on Friday, and then you compromise again that Saturday, and then you compromise again on Sunday, It's like, are you really doing the best that you can do? And again, that's not to discourage, because like I just said, if you can proudly say that, hey, I used to do this, but I don't do that no more, that's still progress. This is the progress that you want and that you're trying to particularly get. Maybe not this moment, but maybe that's just building the momentum. Okay. So when it comes to dieting, the best tip is to start to change the quality before you start to change the quantity. Because if you can change the quality first, then when you go into starting to get into specifics, you can start to change the quantity now. It's just a little bit easier. It's all about your habits. Okay. So I don't want to leave you guys out in the dark. Just as I did in the last video, I'm going to give you guys some solutions. I've already been kind of giving you guys some solutions. So my top 5 things to help you with this type of thing is prioritize high quality protein every single day. When in a fat loss stage, if you are not getting enough protein, your body will start to utilize its own muscle mass as energy, because chances are you're probably not getting enough you're not getting enough calories if you're in a deficit, excuse me. So your body's like, where do I get this energy from? And if you're not keeping your protein high, it's going to start to use your muscles, because it likes what's called muscle glycogen within your muscles. It breaks down faster. Okay, so you definitely want to get enough protein in your diet. It helps keep up the testosterone, helps boost up the protein synthesis process, especially when you're in a calorie deficit, because believe it or not, calorie deficit slows down your metabolism. So keep your protein high. I have in here TEF. That's a thermogenic effect of food. So protein is one of the hardest things for our bodies to digest. So just from digesting enough protein alone is a natural fat burner. So for all my ladies who don't want to eat enough protein, motivation. Getting enough protein alone is a natural fat burner. So stop trying to go use supplements. Prioritize trying to get more protein and enhance it. Okay, do that slowly. I'm not telling you just go all out. If you're having a hard time already, slowly build that up. Okay, number 2, plan and balance your calories through the week, budgeting. So like I said in the beginning of this video and all throughout the video, think of this as finances. Would you put yourself in a $1,050 debt? Is it worth it to go out with your friends to put yourself in a $1,050 debt? Would you go to the bar right now and spend $1,050 on drinks with money you don't have? Would you do it? Maybe some would, but I think most of us wouldn't. And it's the same way. If you think about it in that perspective, like, I wouldn't put myself in debt to go do this. Do I want to hang out with you? Sure. Let me eat first, and then maybe we can go grab one drink. Let me eat first, and we can go to the park. Let me eat first, and we can go play putt-putt golf. Let me eat first. Let's go to Top Gun and go shoot some guns. Instead of spending $50 on that meal, let me spend $50 on relieving some stress by shooting some guns or learning how to shoot a gun. Okay, go do something different. It doesn't always have to be going out to eat. Okay, so plan. Again, if you know something's coming up, you know events are coming up, you know birthday parties are coming up, you know weddings coming up, plan and budget. So maybe Monday through Friday, you're eating a little bit lower calories, so that way you know when it comes time for that event, you kind of accumulated a negative balance to earn what you have. So you saved your money, is what I'm trying to say. Okay, so plan. If you don't plan, just kind of like spur of the moment. I'm a spur of the moment kind of guy. So, I'm all about that, but I'm also planning too. So it's like, okay, I know if I'm going to go do this, then I'm going to do what I just said. I'm going to eat my dinner first and we'll go hang out. Okay. Keep your protein constant. Again, protein is the most important thing when it comes to a fat loss. Don't change that. That should be a very steady number and probably usually the highest number. Fats and carbs are always interchangeable. So again, for instance, if you know you're going to this Roadhouse and you just absolutely love the rolls and you can't avoid them, you're going to want to have more carbs in your diet. Then maybe throughout the week, you kind of dwindle down and you don't have so many carbs throughout the week. Okay. A night out with your friends, again, like I just said, plan that out in advance as best as you can. Like, hey, let's hook up next weekend, and you already got that in your mind. You already got it planned out. Okay. Move and exercise more. So I hear this a lot. Oh, I can't lose weight because I love to eat. Okay, that's to an extent, but it's more so like, what do you love to eat and how are you moving? So like I said in the beginning of this video, if you are the type of person that likes to eat more, then you need to be the type of person that likes to exercise more. You can't have one without the other. If you are going to eat more, you need to exercise more. And that includes getting your steps in. But if you're like, you know what, I can eat less, then that means you exercise less, because we don't want to put ourselves in that high stress. That just means you get more steps. You just focus on being active, focusing on just keeping moving. Okay. Number 3, make a food menu through the week. So what we like to do is we like to find new things that we like, go on find different recipes that we like, go to the grocery store and like, hey, this is really clean ingredients, let's try it. And then we keep our favorites. So then that way we know each week we progress, like, okay, this is going to be our food menu through this week. This is our busiest days. On busy days, we're going to have a crock pot meal because I don't feel like cooking. You don't feel like cooking. So let's just throw something in the crock pot, call it a day. Okay, so knowing your schedule, having a food menu, planning according to your life and just the busyness of it. And then some examples. Like, all right, this is my favorite breakfast foods. This is my favorite lunch. This is my favorite dinner. These are my 2 favorite snacks if you're a snacker. If not, you don't even have to have that in there. And your protein shakes can count as meals. So maybe for breakfast, it is a protein shake. That's it. Or some type of smoothie with protein powder in it. Okay, so just plan out ahead. Like, this is what I'm going to do. So that way, when that weekend comes where most of us lose it, you're not losing it. You already got it mapped out. You're sticking to the plan. You're like Dan Campbell. You're going for it on 4th down every single time. You're sticking to the plan. This is what worked. This is what I'm going to keep doing. Okay. Number 4, buy meal preps for the end of the week. So most of us don't like to cook after a long week. I barely have to cook at all. But instead of buying them for the beginning of the week, where you're a little bit more fresher, you're not as tired, and you're more willing to cook possibly, maybe you should buy some for the end of the week. Like, I don't feel like cooking, and I want some variety, and this usually they come with your macros, so you already know. Okay, so and then the last one, just revert back to my last episode for tips on the social aspects. I was already kind of talking about the last episode and just some tips on it. Again, it's very, very important. I'm not trying to tell anybody to stay away from their friends, but there's appropriate ways and there's just different things that you can do to stay social, to stay within the loop, to stay accustomed with your family. Okay, so no one's trying to tell you avoid them. Is it easier when you're kind of like taking a break from certain people because you know that they have an influence on you to do things that you probably shouldn't be doing, especially in a fat loss diet? Sure. So be mindful of that. But again, by no means am I saying not be social. It's just kind of like it goes hand in hand with that budgeting. Again, go watch that video if you haven't. So I just want to thank you guys again. I hope this was very, very helpful. I love teaching this stuff. So let me know in the comments if you learned anything, if you want me to expand more on anything, if there's any other questions that you may have or any topics that you would like me to do. Again, I'm looking forward to next week, as I want to do something very special. So be looking out for that. That might be the video 3. I'm debating if I want to make that video 3 for the series to close it out. But again, let me know if there's any other series that you want me to talk about, and let's break it down together. Thank you guys for watching. This is Tomas Ramirez from Positive Gains Training. You can find us on our website at positivegainstore.com if you're interested in personal training, interested in small group personal training, or even online training if you don't even live in Michigan. So feel free to contact me. Don't hesitate with any questions that you may have. I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Thank you again for sticking with me for about an hour. And have a good weekend. God bless.